All right. I think we're live. So if you guys can hear me out there, chime in, let me know. Said we'll wait for a few people to hop on. People want to kind of plug, like I said, their what they're having for their lasers. I know right now, like I said, we're focused on the P2, P2s. I do have both here. So again, if you're on, let me know. Um, but yeah, today, this time's gonna be a little different. We're gonna kind of still run through the basics of XCS, where everything is. Some things have changed, some things made it a little easier. Show you all the new features of XCS. So, how you doing, Shirley? So yeah, it's gonna be, and it's some cool stuff. It's definitely some stuff that we've all been asking for. So nice, nice. Love my love my F1 and my P2. It's a great combination of lasers. Covers a lot of stuff. So Um, again, if you guys got questions, and again, we'll cover some stuff down the line and at the end. If people got some questions about their F1 or their S1, we can go over that stuff at the end. But I'm gonna try to keep it mostly focused on P2, like the settings and how to get the stuff and all that. So I'll ramble on until somebody tells me to stop. So my wife's out here to keep me in line today. So we'll give it a few minutes. But no, yeah. So like I said, I love doing this stuff for you guys. You try to help as much as I can on the groups and stuff. So perfect. Those are the people I like to help. I like to help all the new people. Definitely a lot of people hopped on this year. It seems like into the laser journeys. So again, another reason why I do this kind of stuff. So, but if you guys got any simple questions, any questions for me, I can answer them. I've been doing laser engraving for 3 years now. 4 years, 3.5 years. So, but yeah, it's a fun adventure. It's definitely been keeping me busy. So good busy. But I myself, I own an S1 20 watt, uh P2, P2s, F1 Ultra, a D1, and a F1 that actually is on loan to a buddy. So I've dabbled in everything but the M1 series. So, but yeah, like I said, if you guys got any questions, I want to say I can answer everything, but if I can't, I'll find somebody that I will, and I'll find you the answer. So yeah, they got me in deep when that D1 got me intrigued, and then I needed stuff faster and more power, so had to keep going. And then also I do a demo room, so I'm in Michigan. I do a demo room, so if anyone wants to see the stuff, people can come and see the stuff also. So another reason why I do have a lot of stuff. It helps out with the demos and that stuff. Lets people come and see me. So, but I'm messing with myself. There's always a problem with this. Like I trying to watch the YouTube video, but not watch the YouTube video. So don't bear with me here, guys. All right, let's see. We got 6 people on. I think we're gonna hop into XCS here, make sure everything's visually you can see everything. You let me know too. So, but well, you'll like one of the new features, Twist Barbell, the XCS came out with. Again, I'm not sure what version, and that's another good question too, is what version are you guys on? I know there's a lot of people that are horror stories. I don't want to say it's all user. problems and people not paying attention and not letting it download and all that good stuff. There is obviously tweaks when things first come out. I think there actually is a glitch, but it's more of a text glitch that I'm sure will get fixed. It's fixable. It's just how things get done inside XCS. So I think it's trying to. I think it's pretty close myself. I mean, again, it's does its own thing for its own lasers. I mean, it'll never be the same as Lightburn, but I feel like it's getting closer and closer to Lightburn. I can do, I want to say 90% of what Lightburn can do. Obviously, not going deep into the laser settings, and because we don't have that ability like Lightburn does. Lightburn lets you get deeper into the laser settings and control more of the lasers. XCS doesn't let you do that. Even in Lightburn, you can't do that on the you know xTool lasers. It's just not the way they're written. So, but yeah, it's there's some good stuff. Project wise, I mean, I'll answer this question real quick right now. Yeah, I mean, it's depends on what you're trying to do. I mean, if you're doing a nice deep engravings, you never want to do a lot of air assist. You have a P2s, turn it down as low as I can, which I think you can get down to 20% now. We can look at that. We'll double check it. It's either 10 or 20%. Turn it down just so you don't get that blow, the soot and stuff. But usually clear coating stuff actually makes it an easier cleanup. That's you only get on the outside will get stuck and it's easier to wipe off. So I, I've done a couple things where I've clear coated and then engraved. But I do recommend going back and clear coating after you engrave also. So just to seal everything. All right, let's go. Let's hop into XCS here. How you doing, Glenn? Sorry, I'm waiting to see where I end up on the screen. So I always like to make sure that there we go. All right, you can see everything. That's all I want to double check. Again, we're just hopping in and we're just getting started. For anybody that's new, P2s, P2, really there's this, I want to say they're the same laser, but they're not. P2s is definitely one step above the P2. P2 was a great laser to start with for me, not start, bump to, I should say. Started with D1, went to the P2. So, but yeah, it's the air assist on it definitely way better. It's definitely faster. So those are definitely two things that are very noticeable. There is something that actually that they just with this new update. So again, I'm going to show you all the stuff on 2.4.27 that you can do on the P2 now that you could only do on the P2s. So that's the one thing. So again, basic stuff for new people. Obviously, I'm sure you've all been playing with your stuff. This is all your settings. 2PS does let you, or sorry, 2PS. 2.4 now does let you they have some support center stuff here on the front. Material easy set is on the front. These are things that actually just got added real recently. Again, just your basic. You want something to play with to start with. Go through this stuff. It's all free. Download it. Don't be worried. Obviously, there is some prime projects. Again, don't be, you want one, you want to pay for it, you can pay for it. But again, I'm a big thing with Etsy. I do like Etsy. I'm not saying don't buy it, don't use these. The free ones are great. Get on there, play with them, use them, do all that good stuff. So that's what they're there for. Obviously, this is your list. You do get like 10, I think it's 10 different saved ones. Obviously, see, I got a lot of Valentine stuff going. Got a show this weekend, actually. So I do shows. I do a lot of craft shows. I have my own laser business. So that's how this rolls. We all start somewhere, right? Keep this rocking. I have a website. Well, you guys will see that here in a minute when I do some of the examples. Um, I know there was a question that was asked earlier today in one of the chats about connecting via USB on multiple lasers. As of right now, I've not been able to see anybody do it unless you do a virtual desktop. I think you can do it. That's the only way I've seen people be able to do it. I can connect all my lasers through Wi-Fi. I prefer Wi-Fi. I know a lot of people don't like it. In the long run, though, if you think about it, what it's doing is sending the data to your laser. Once it's there, there's no way for it to get interrupted. So it's not bad that way. So I think it's almost better, especially the newer lasers. The D1 was the only one that was a little iffy. All the rest, I have not had an issue with any of these lasers over Wi-Fi ever. So, but again, you do have to have a good network. So it is definitely one thing to start with. So we're gonna jump into this stuff real quick. Hey, got to start somewhere, guys, right? So real quick, cross stop. Obviously, you have your home button if you ever want to get back home. That's what that's for. I have, three lasers open right now. I got two P2s, just some examples we're going to do shit later. P2S. You can have up to 6 different versions open, and you can send them all at the same time. Just to let you know. So over Wi-Fi, obviously, not USB. So that is the benefit of this. So in 2.4, there's a few extra things here under the X, called the X home, whatever you want to call it, main menu. So obviously you got your files, your imports, all your basic information. If you want to rename like the file up here, you can rename it. Um, import, open project or import. Imports your PNG, JPEGs, DXF, those files all you can import in. Open projects, so anything that's already an XCS file, that'd be an open project. Trust me, when I first started doing this, you sitting there looking like I can't find my files. I'm trying to import an XCS file, it doesn't work. Things just feel like they disappear. So that's something you always got to watch for. They do let you have edit. They do have an edit now here, so you can have your cut, pause, paste. So all that stuff. These are all the quick keys. If you guys want to go back and check out quick keys, there I love quick keys. I'm very adamant about using quick keys. So arrangements, again, there's 4 different ways to do the same thing in the XCS, which is nice. So it fits just about anybody. If you're you want to go through the screen here, you go this route. If not, you can go somewhere else. This is why I like XCS. It's not that I don't like Lightburn. I just felt like XCS was way more user friendly than Lightburn was, and that's why I've kind of stuck with xTool because I do like the software, and it's just, and I have an engineering background. I'm a CAD guy. It's one of my things, and I felt like coming into lasers, Lightburn was over the top for me a little bit, so it was just way easier with XCS, and they've just upped it and upped it every time. So that's where I felt. So but yeah, so there's all kinds of stuff. So you can do everything through their main menu now. I don't know, drive people crazy doing this, but so yeah, you have all your other abilities right inside here instead of having to always go to the top. They're still up there, guys. Don't be scared. They're still there. It's just you can do this. This is one thing I do want to show you guys. So you can actually change the grid. I know there's some people say, hey, it's too dark, too light. You can actually lighten it up. So if your grid, you want to make it lighter, darker, that is an option now. I kind of like seeing the grid line sometimes. So let's see. And then obviously settings, we'll run through these real quick. Things that I recommend. Two popular ones, if you go switch back and forth between millimeters and inches, Control K, or what is it on a Mac? I don't know what they call it. Somebody will help me out. What is that button? It's the control button. Yeah, I think it's control, right? I don't know, the Apple button and K, same thing. So, and then Control R, the auto snap and the millimeters inches. Those are the two that I get used, I think, the most for me. I do recommend having all these checked. If you do want to see a full list of the hotkeys, you can go and click in your settings, go through there. This here, I keep mine at high. Go to optimal, but it's when you start using bigger options. Yes, command. Thank you. So I always keep it at high. It's just mine. This is one I do recommend, especially if you're doing boxes, a lot of boxes, a lot of stuff that's got slots, things you want to slide together. The keep it size is, I recommend it because then you're not losing that relationship because it will suck it down, and it's bad when it changes relationship, and then you're like, why does this not work? And you think your laser's bad and it's not. So that's one I highly recommend. Again, if you're bringing DXF files in, I would turn this on. I don't, so that's why I don't have mine checked on. If you do have settings in your for your lasers, remember to export every once in a while. There's another feature now. This is what they used to do. There's another way to do it also now too. So, but this is how you export them out just to save them, back them up. Do it once a month or something. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not real good at backing mine up. So this is another new one that people have had that don't know. So the clear cache, whenever you have that where it gets stuck in that whole loading screen, if you had that issue, they actually put a plug in here now that you can actually clear it. If you're having an issue connecting to your lasers, go in there and clear your cache. This will help out with that kind of issue. I know some people have already turned it off instead of using this because their cache is making it so they can't find it. The more it uses it and more it sees your lasers, the better it has to fix it on its own. So then you do have the ability to turn off the automatic installations and the updates. Again, I'm gonna have it updated. The sooner it comes out, the better. So I was waiting for this one to come out. So, but that's where the gist of this is. Again, going across the top, obviously save. They did change how you save files now too, because you can actually save to your MySpace. I think I showed that on the home screen. So anybody that uses tablets or cell phones, there you have a MySpace area, which is this here, and you're limited to 50 megabytes. So you can send any file and it will go between tablet, phone. You can open it, close it. It's all there. And it actually made it a lot easier to go back and forth. Obviously, you'll have to click on whatever one you want. Upload. Actually, just let me click on it. Like I said, that was one of the things that was a little bit harder, is they were not making it easy for it to go back and forth between the tablets and the phones and stuff like that. So I do recommend designing on the computer. They have made it a lot better on the tablets because you don't lose as many of the functions, if hardly any of them now. I know some of the new ones today you probably won't have on the tablet. I haven't gone double checked, so I'm not positive. I don't use the tablet a ton. So exactly. So again, going across top, that's what that's for now. This is your best friend, the undo button. Don't be scared of it. You can go, as long as you save it and never hop out of it, you can go all the way back to when you started. So don't be mad. It's like, oh, and that's the biggest thing with XCS compared to like Lighburn. XCS, there is an order of operations. So you got to do something before you do something else. So it's sometimes like I got to go back and do this before I can do something else. So there is a little bit of paying attention what needs to be done with XCS, but again, I can do pretty much everything. It might take me a couple more steps, but I can do everything that you can do in Lightburn in XCS. So, and then I'll take anybody up on their challenge. All right, now canvases. This one, it's weird. There's a use for it. I use it for different revisions of something, or when I go to a show, I'll put different things for my F1 into different categories. So I just got to click on it, open it up, it's there. That's kind of what I use my canvases for. I do a lot of lakes, so those are my layers for my lakes. And again, it's just the problem with putting different stuff in there is you don't, when you go to search your files, it always goes by what's on the top, not what's in your canvases. So sometimes you lose stuff. My early on stuff, I've lost a lot of stuff trying to find. Me and my wife argue, hey, where do we put that? We're working on it. We're getting it back to finding all of our files. So, but it is handy. So, and then obviously process slats. This is your process screen. So obviously tumblers, rollers, slat remove. This used to be what they used to call open plane for the older people. We'll start it back. So whenever you pull your slats out and you're trying to do something below the slats, that's what the slat removed is for. I know there's some questions on how that works out. When you do go to slat removed, you do lose some of your laser. You lose the width on it. So there's because again, it goes back to the same thing with the conveyor. You lose like 3 inches, 4 inches off the one side. So it goes from 23 and a half inches down to 19 and a half inches. So yeah, And the reason why it goes down for that is because like on the conveyor feeder, yes, I could put 24 inches in there, but it does only limit you to 23 or 19 and a half inches wide because I think it's making it so you can't accidentally run over your connection, your cord. That's why they do that, which is technically smart. So, but you do lose it when you go to slats removed also. So just be aware of that. Um, guys, this Pepsi. Just like out. This is something new that I was just actually going through they did add this. This is a P2S thing for doing curved features on your rotary in the P2. So this isn't just a P2S thing anymore. On 2.4, you can do odd shapes where you can actually map out your cups and stuff to do different shapes and stuff like that. So I'm not sure how beneficial this would be with like tabs and stuff. If it will account for those or not. Possibility. I haven't done it. I just noticed it was good. It was available for the P2. I know it was available on the P2S. I don't, I'm gonna say right now, I don't do a lot of cups in my P2 or P2S. I'm not with the F1 in my S1. So, and then honeycomb, this is another one that people don't, I see a lot of people talking in the P2S groups. If you have your honeycomb in there, it measures differently than if you're on slats. So on slats, it goes by material thickness. On your honeycomb, because not every honeycomb is the same, it goes by distance. So don't, and I've seen a lot of people do it. You can have an issue where you start moving stuff, you're gonna hit your material. Almost guarantee you're gonna hit material. At some point in time, you'll hit material when if you're on a honeycomb and you're saying you're on slats. So just an FYI. But there's a lot of stuff that's cool that look into it. I mean, this is a cool feature that they brought to the people of P2. So uh that's that going across. Obviously, they got rid of these two being in the same, so you have your refresh, your camera, so you can see my dirty inside of my. Actually, I cleaned mine. It's not too dirty actually. So I cleaned it all yesterday. Um, so obviously the inside of your laser, your close up, highly recommend using your close up. Again, I've seen people complain about this too. When you hit close up, left side of your screen, you will lose 2 inches because again, that camera is only on that side. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's a small picture, but only on that side. So that's why you lose that a little bit. You'll never see all the way to the left. But highly, what I tell people is right edge of the machine, just over. It'll go just over. So if you put it, but up that nice big thick area, your material up to that corner, and then just below, basically where the slats start in the grooves, is where you should put your material 95% of the time. Yes, anything I talk about the P2 will apply to the P2S. I will go through a couple extra things that the P2S can do, just to let you know. So I just want to bring up that tumbler thing. That P2S thing was the tumbler was originally only on the P2S until the 2 point. And again, that this feature is only in 2.4. It's not in 2.3. So you have to update if you want to try this feature. So but obviously, again, close ups, highly recommend. You got to make sure. Actually, I don't have nothing out there, so it's going to look weird, but should throw something in there just to show the distortion. But even if I did this, I don't have a thickness set. Don't assume stuff is right until you set your thickness. You should really, I wish they'd almost put thickness ahead of everything else because you should do it in order. Do your thickness first, then do your, you know, it should actually run left to right. I'm happy to go right to left. So technically it's right. I'm just going the wrong order. So if you do have a close-up view, you guys all know you right click on it. You can hit hide background or delete. My screen's in my way. Or delete close-up view. And I'll go back to the regular view. Uh you have quick measure. I am not a big fan of quick measure Just let everybody know. I like aim measure just because I don't always have a full sheet in my laser. I usually have small pieces. Put it in there. Small pieces. So I'm not always under the laser, so that's why I use aim to measure. It was doing auto measure, that's why. Because the problem is if you put your slat in the right spot, it will always say it's picking something up and not be correct because it's picking up your slat. So that's another reason why I don't like aim to measure on doing small items. Yes, you can hide the actual background also. So, surprise. So if you guys can see at the very bottom of the screen down there, I have a little spacer that I put in there that helps me put stuff in the same spot every time, right at the bottom, very down there. So, let's see if we do that. Okay. Close. I got it. There'll be another thing I'll show you guys too here in a second that obviously you can see I got a nice dark screen going on here. It's not always good, especially when you put black acrylic on top of this. I know, was it Fab or Glenn said that's all you guys use. Black acrylic and black area really kind of sucks because you can't see exactly where your edges are at sometimes. So, okay, so I think I got it stuck. I made it mad. You can, and you can type in there too. So that's what I was trying to do. So just don't be aware of that too. Don't always be stuck to say, hey, it has to be what that says. If you know your material is, say, 1.25, then put 0.125 in there, and that's your material thickness. Again, on slats. Don't do it if you're on honeycomb. It's a measurement from, I don't know if it's from the bottom of the laser down or not. It's like 0.8 for the difference of point slat. So I gotta believe it's from the bottom of the laser. So that's that. Obviously, this is your materials list. Um, I like the material list. It's a suggested starting point. If you ever have an issue, I haven't seen it in the P2. It's more of an F1 issue. If you ever have an issue where it seems like your laser is not cutting exactly the way it should be, go back and change it to just the unknown material. Especially in the F1, I've seen that make a difference. It's weird. I don't know why, but it have. There's a couple materials I've picked, and it's like my laser doesn't have no power, but as soon as I go back to undo it, it's fine. So, but you have a full list, whatever you need to look for. You need more materials. It's the only spot that in the XCS you need the internet. You hit here. See if it'll take me. Okay, it does. Go in here. It's got the full list. Like you pick your laser, whichever one you need, P2, P2s. Look at here. P2. There is difference. So the difference between just engrave and bitmap engrave. Actually, a bitmap engrave is a PNG file, JPEG file. You're gonna change it up a little bit speed wise. Let's see what the difference is. So engrave, they got 20 at 450. Kind of light for me. And then bitmap engrave, obviously they went quite a bit slower, lower on power, which is weird. So those are some options. Just let you know. Again, these are all starting points. Don't take all this stuff as it has to be this. It's the whole point of doing tests and doing that kind of stuff. And I'll go through and show you guys how to do a test and all that stuff. If you need to get out of this screen, what is that? Just hit the X there. Real quick, this up here, this is like information. So if there's questions, anytime your laser does anything, it tells you it's done, blah, blah, blah. There's device stuff, system information, apps, and then activities. So this is kind of where XCS will kind of give you some information. It might be something for new beta tester. If you want to be a beta tester, it'll be in this area. A lot of these will be emails that you guys will be getting anyways, but just to let you know, they're there. Uh, yeah, so this is all this kind of stuff. Mark them all as red. Let me get rid of that. This screen here, if you have multiple lasers running, this is how you will see them up here. So, uh, so yeah, this is where you'll see all the different lasers running. So if you ever go out of your home screen, because when you're processing, you can go back and forth. You don't have to stay and watch it process. You can go back, keep on working on something, and keep going. And if you want to go back to the process screen, this is how you get there. Obviously, green, this is your laser. You can go in there and name all your lasers if you want to. Green is good. Green means it's connected. If it's not green, it's not connected. So this is how you connect. I've never really had any luck with these on the side. I just don't use them. I would highly recommend just going down here, connect device. Obviously, I'm on Wi-Fi, so see if it shows up. Well, those are the ones I have. Those are the ones that are connected. They're all green. They're good to go. So that's why I like this and not using this one. And sometimes they'll auto connect. If you have one laser, 95% of the time it'll auto connect. So uh obviously device settings. I want to run through a couple things. This is where you can change the name real quick. Scroll down. This is the firmware updates. This is the one. Check it. Make sure you're not having a big show. I'm all for updates, but just make sure you don't have a big show going on and do an update. Don't do it. Just wait. Just in case. And then obviously your Wi-Fi settings. So um obviously you can tell your working hours, how long stuff's been going. Device settings. I'm not saying everybody should disable their base plate because it's nice to know that it's pushed all the way in, but you can actually disable the base plate if you're getting that error constantly. I do leave my exhaust fan in, even though I'm running the big. I actually run the IF2, the xTool, when it runs all three of my lasers. So that little guy exhausts all of them. So it's definitely worth it if you're trying to exhaust outside. So this laser will stay on for 20 seconds. This is the one I wanted to show you guys real quick. So people that are doing tumblers in their P2 or anything that's dark, this background brightness increase it's awesome. So if I turn this on, I do have to get out of here and refresh, but you'll see the difference if you guys don't know about this one. And again, obviously, with the wood, you got to be careful because the nice white wood will wash out. And if you have a big sheet in there, which I did once, and I'm like, where did my background go? I thought I lost my laser. That's why. It's what happens. So, but you have something black in there or a cup you're trying to look at, you can see so much better. It's crazy. But just remember, you have to go back into settings, turn it back off. And then refresh again to get it to go back. Buzzer settings, obviously you can turn those off. You don't want to hear it beep all the time. Optical path, this is how you do your laser. You know, it is always good to test it once in a while. I know people say test after every time they clean. I don't. I've never had issues, honestly. It's one of those things. But if you do see an issue after you've cleaned your laser, double check it again. You kind of can, but not this brightness. Just let you know, Fabby. Um, flame sensitivity. So this is your fill brightness. I know this usually comes in, and you get a new laser, it comes in at 50%. So you can actually go in there and turn that up. So that'd be like the lights that are on. That's what the fill brightness is. Engraving, I keep mine at 30. This is the lowest the P2 will go. Cutting, I do 100. If you're cutting acrylic, I know, was it Glenn? I think you cut an acrylic. I would probably turn this to 50. It usually helps with cutting acrylic. It's weird. It's weird how it works, but it does. Makes a cleaner cut. So, and then I don't have any exciting, obviously, accessories on this one. So I do have it on my P2s. So that's that. Let's refresh this real quick. Well, the only difference between this one and the P2s, which I'll let's go down real quick. So settings in the P2s, everything else is pretty much the same. You do get a couple different things, so you can actually change the fan speed percentage wise because it's very powerful. Because I have the way I hooked up, I have to turn it down. I can't run it at full speed. It blows back into my other machines. So yes, it does, but it does that. It displays all multiple lasers for design purposes. It just gives you the option if you want to go. Obviously, not everybody has that laser. That's why it shows them all on there. So, uh, this is some other stuff the P2s does. It gives you a cleaning reminder after so many hours. It's going to say, "Hey, your machine hasn't been cleaned in 8 hours." Sometimes I'll do it before. I'm probably gonna get flagged on mine because I just cleaned it recently. Again, backness, brightness. So P2s users, you do get to be able to move the head um, if I want to. So I can move it manually, which is nice if you are doing tumblers because then you can kind of go put it out there. It doesn't let you rotate the rotary, but at least it lets you move the head to kind of see exactly where you are. So it doesn't let you move Z though. That's kind of weird. I wish it would. But it does let you at least go X, Y. So that's that. Obviously, the test path. Again, P2 users, you get to the point where you everything fails for the last time, it will shoot a red optical to show you the laser path, which is awesome. Because I haven't tested on this one and failed it. See it. Well, I know the P2s don't do it. The P2s will though. So flame sensitivity, leave it low. I like having my stuff bright. Um, Air pump engraving again 10%. I always turn my stuff down as low as it goes for engraving. Just gives you a better thing. And then actually cut lowest output. This is the one you do got to pay attention to because if you set your stuff to 10 or 1%, it's still always going to cut at 5. So be careful or engrave at 5. I did that once on accident and sorry guys. So um but higher acceleration. So this one I would recommend. Make sure you're on a sturdy table because it will make your stuff faster. It will engrave faster than what you normally would do if you turn this on. This does go inside with another setting that I'll show you real quick that I didn't bring up in the other one. It's another download you have to do, and you only can do it through the settings on XCS. So go back to this one because it's on all of these. So the P2, P2s, sorry, P2s and S1 are the only ones that download this algorithm. So actually, let's go this one. Only ones that affects file settings. So it's the setting, it's this update algorithm package. You only can download it in here. That's not something you just download, but I do recommend it. It does make things run faster. So engraving wise, it goes faster. So let's see. Man, we haven't even got to the new stuff yet. Far in 40 minutes in already. This feature is nice. We'll go over that here in a second. Obviously, text, we'll go through all this stuff on the side here when I go through some of the new stuff. All right, so a couple of new features that you have right now is actually, I know people have asked, are rulers. So if you see on the left side, there is a number there. You just go to the top and drag it down. It brings a ruler out. You grab another one and bring it down. Now you get a dimension in the between the two lines. So only I wish they would let you do is type in. I can't. I haven't figured out. It won't let me. It just disappears when I let go. So that is a downfall, but they're there at least. So now I can pull from both sides. You can get different crosshairs, you know. So very handy to have. So, um, I'll come back to some of these questions. I think my wife's writing some of these down, so we'll come back. I want to get through some of these new features real quick here, guys. Feel like I'm been babbling on you. So this is a real nice feature. Again, if you want, that was the biggest problem with XCS is like I don't know where stuff is in relationship because everything was always based off upper right hand corner. If you guys want to know that, everything's based off upper right hand corner of the screen. And if you're like this XYZ up here is based off this corner. So now I can at least snap to that corner, or I can snap to this corner now. So that's where the drag lines are actually really nice. Let's see, can I snap center? Yeah, I can snap center even too. So that's where the rulers things are actually going to be really handy. So why did I just? Anyways, so yeah, that's that one. That's one of the new features. Another one real quick. And we'll run through these other things. Let's do this real quick. So another feature that is, I'll see you guys down. If you guys, real quick, box sizes. If you always want it to be square, hold shift. It'll always stay. You hold shift and drag your mouse. Everything stays square. This does lines, circles. They'll do the same thing. Um, One of the other new features I know people have asked for. If you see the blue lines and stuff that are snapping, oh, these are the snap features. These are just connected. So that's where you still get dimensions even that way too, which is nice. And I think this is again an update, part of the update because I don't remember the numbers always being there before. So that's nice that they're there. But then on top of that, you actually get under applications here. We actually have a measurement tool now. So this is actually really nice. So again, if you have a pocket, you want to know how wide it is, how big it is on the design that you just downloaded. This is where this is beneficial. So now I can go in here, grab a side, grab a side. Obviously, I know how big this block is because it's on my XYZ, but it's to do that kind of stuff that, and again, that's where it's nice to have. It's just nice to have. It's one of those features that a lot of people have asked for. They've asked for measuring tools. So again, I wish it would kind of stay. It's only a downfall. I wish it would stay up there and like let me move it. I'm pretty sure if I hit escape, yeah, it disappears because I can't click on it and let me move it while it's still measured. So, but it's there. It's one again, it's something we've asked for. Um, so that's those features. One other feature that they've I'm gonna give you all kinds of good stuff. So, and we'll go for at least another 40 minutes if y'all want to hang out. So I usually try to do about an hour and a half. So another feature that they've actually updated that people, again, this is all in this new update. So highly recommend getting the new update. Maybe you don't see what I'm doing. You can move your different colors. All these are. It says that they're layers too, but they're different colors. And in XCS, everything is a solid, even though when you do score cut, it's see-through. This is why I always do everything in colors because you can see what sits on top of what. It matters. So the other feature that they brought out now, which is great, is the last thing that you select now, you do a center. See if this lies to me. Is where it goes to now, which I know this was a big one too, because they used to both move and it was like that sucks. And so now it's that way. Let's see, let's move this back way here smaller. So now if I take let's move from it. So again, if I select this one, go center. It's always going to be the last one you click. So just to let you know. And then if anybody wants to make a border while I have this together real quick, as long as your stuff is sitting on top of each other, you select them both. So this is a box select. Just click outside anywhere and drag across the screen box. Anything the green box is touching, I can have the minimal amount possible. Just let them touch. And then subtracted overlap. So these are all your features. It's called boolean operations. So you got your subtracted overlap, subtract, union, and unit overlap, which is, I'm gonna call it more of a trim tool. Union overlap. So if you have both of them selected, which I think I do, and then you hit subtracted overlap, that's how you get your borders. So how you do the ornaments, and that's where now I can put words inside of it, because that's how you gotta look at stuff. That's why I always tell everybody design with the engrave on, and then go back and do your cut, score, and stuff afterwards. It just makes life easier. So, and then if you want to go back and say, hey, that inside need to be bigger, you can double click it and just move the nodes if you want. You know, box select them both, move them over. This is where, again, XCS is catching up to Lightburn because of these reasons. I can do all these node editings and all that stuff. You know, you don't have to go back and change it all. So, again, you can release it one way or the other. So if I go in here and I go, let's see, edit release, I think it'll actually let me grab the box, move it independently, and then just hit done, and it goes back to a solid. It's still together. It's not separate. So again, there's a lot of stuff that you can. It might be, like I said, it might be a few more steps than in other softwares, but I can do it. So, so that's that. Add the list up. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything for you guys. We'll go over that in a second. We'll get the photos. That's the center. No, I'm not a big. You have the AI feature now and here if you guys like to do the AI stuff. It's handy. It's right here. I mean, these are some of my things that I've done. You know, again, this is an embossment, obviously, for the F1. You take an image, it'll turn it into embossments, stuff like that. But you can do whatever you want there. Same thing, you know, pick the style you want, type in what you want. These do cost you money, so just be aware that when you do these, I don't want to say they cost you money. You bought the laser, you have points, you have credits. So what it is you go in there, you type what you want to do, all that blah blah blah. Like this one here, it cost me 12 credits. I have 122 left to use. So just be aware of that though with the AI maker. So uh, real quick while we're over here, obviously applications, your grid arrays. Obviously, we want to do a bunch of box selects. So whenever we do a grid array, I'm doing real quick. L does multiples, puts a millimeter in between each one. You can do up to 10 on both of these. The algorithm application is only for the P2s, not the P2, just to let you know. And you install it through the settings. And that's the only spot you can install it. And like I said, it helps. So, but yeah, that's what the points are for. You can go into XCS and buy gift cards and stuff if you have points to buy other stuff, buy spare components, buy spare parts, buy that. That's what those points are for. So, um, but no, this is the box array. When you do save your boxes and the stuff, it does group them together, and that's where a lot of people get grouping is. I'm gonna say it. Grouping is design feature only in XCS. It's not like it is in Lightburn. That's more like this button is their version of grouping is make compound vector. It's not the same. So when you try to say if I try to make this a compound, it's probably going to do it to me and prove me wrong. So the algorithm feature makes things faster. So again, it's a setting that's inside of that you got to download in XCS settings, and it's one you have to turn on in your P2s settings. So real quick, because I see them slowly popping that one up. So it's just this higher X acceleration. This is part of the algorithm. Make sure you have a table that's sturdy because it will shake your machine pretty good if you don't have a good sturdy base. Just an FYI. So, but yeah, just if you ever try to do anything with a make, union, boolean, any of that stuff, make sure the stuff's not grouped. It will not come out right if it's grouped. It should always be ungrouped. So just an FYI on that. Because like I said, right now it's grouped. If I go and do this, it's gonna do it right today because it wants to. It's gonna make me look bad. But it's the more when stuff is overlapping is when it will do some weird stuff. So uh what else was in there? So I'm gonna delete this real quick. Again, if you double click on any feature, it will go to that node editing, just to let you know. So, but real quick, the other one that again, I seen somebody say they bought a bunch of files for test files. If you have XCS, you do never have to buy a test file. Please do not buy a test file. It's a waste of money. So just make a box. I mean, usually I tell people make about a 1/4 inch, 0.25. Yeah, see your width, your height, they're not the same. If you want to make them so they're not the same, or you want to make them the same because they're not, that's your unlock. Just unlock it, and then you can type in 0.25 or whatever. It don't have to be. If you're doing a cut test, sorry, don't buy them. This is how you make them. All right, $8 ain't too bad. I'll give you that. I'm sure I've spent way more on easy stuff too. So we all gotta start somewhere. But this is what I just want to show you. So you make a box. You're doing a cut test, so this is what you got to pick. Yeah, you got to pick if you want to do a score test, engrave, or cut. The only thing you really do not set material because this is what you're trying to figure out is what the material will do. All right. Do not set a material. You don't have to. It doesn't help you any. It messes you up. All right. But pick your engrave, and then the only other thing you can change for the test is lines per centimeter. So how many lines you want within that centimeter. This is again, I'm gonna tell you guys too right now. This is not DPI, not the same. So when you're doing a photo, less is more. We'll kind of cover that if we have time. So, um, usually 100 is what people run at 100, 120. So, um, so we'll say keep it at 100. Got the box. We're engraving. Go to applications, material test array. It gives you the full grid. Tell you what you tell it what you want to do. Depending on your materials, try to not, and this is where it does, you do have to be careful. Don't run 100 power at 5 or at 10 speed. You know, it's bad. This is where people will catch stuff on fire. Just kind of know what your material is. If you think it's gonna be flammable, do start fast and then work your way down. So that's all I got to say. It's one of those things. Cut test not too bad, but engrave is the one you got to watch. Is when you're doing your test because this is where things I've done it still in the day. It's like I forget and just pay attention. And if you see something that doesn't look right, turn it off, start over, do it again. So, but yeah, you just get your size. Don't walk, yeah, never walk away when you're doing a cut test. And these will take a minute too, especially if you're doing like a 10 by 10. Uh, especially if you're doing it on metals. They will take a minute because they're doing each one little square. So they take a minute. I mean, again, this does group. It groups together. So sometimes like the numbers don't show up. You can go in there, ungroup it. Yes, acrylic is flammable. It will catch on fire. Actually, there was a guy on a D1 just last week. I think he walked away for a second and melted half his machine. So just don't. Hey, I've done it. I do. I'm not gonna lie. I'll walk away from our machine for a second because this is. But just make sure you know what you're doing, what material you're engraving. So that's all I got to say. I mean, obviously, if I'm doing a metal or a cup, it's not gonna catch on fire. But obviously, if I'm doing, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't be scared of your laser. All right. That's all I got to say. Please don't be. It's easy to pause. Yes, it's easy to pause your laser, especially the P2s. If you ever see an issue with your P2, hit your button again. It pauses it. Your big old button. You don't have to hit the emergency stop. You just hit your go button again. It will pause your machine. It will stop. It will shut down. It'll turn everything off. You can stop it. All right. It'll let you open the lid up, clean out, move away, whatever. So don't be scared of your laser. But like I said, just being on the cautious side of start fast when you're engraving, work your way down to find what you like. So that's why you do all your testing and stuff. So, and you can do these on cups and same stuff. I have them all over my house, everywhere. So do them in everything. So and change them up. Even when you get some new stuff, new material, do it again because not all the material is going to be the same that you get. I've gotten coasters and acrylic. I know it was a gene. Acrylic's not all the same unless you're buying from the same vendor. You get something different. It is totally different sometimes. So be careful on that. But same thing with cut tests. So I mean, again, you can, if I want to undo this, I just go back, undo, undo, undo. Does all moves. Actually, real quick, I'm gonna go back forward here. I'll show you guys something. Go forward. So real quick on this, you see on the side here, this will tell you that if you did it right. Each box, you can see it's 100%, 90%, 80%, 10%. So this will tell you if you're doing it right, as long as your squares are not all the same. Because if you do this and then you go up here and I set a material, should change it. Last time I did that example, it didn't, but that's usually how people end up with the ones that are all the same. So exactly. Don't walk away and quick if you are in out. So no, but again, same way for doing any of the other tests. And don't be, it's weird. Score test, people's like, what score? Score is a fast burn, is all it is. It's to draw pictures on your wood. Because we do a lot of earrings for our company, and my wife likes to paint them. So I score them and she goes back and paints them, and it helps with bleeding if you're going to paint stuff. So that's what the score is used for. If you just want to give something for the kids, I do a lot of score stuff for the kids. You score a little image, kids love it. You give those out to kids at shows, makes their day, brings the parents in your booth. So, yep, and then they can color them up. So, but that's what scores are for. And I do a lot of stuff with cutting boards. I score a lot of cutting boards after I engrave them. And again, we can go over that in a minute. All right. Shoot. Yes, we do. We have a power couple thing going. She's the my painter. She's my artist. So, uh, what else we got? All right. So those functions I showed you those. Another nice function that they actually finally put out, which is awesome. The features. So it used to be that little feature always showed up here and you never can find it. Now, if I zoom in real close and I add a tree, it's going to be right in the middle of my screen. No matter where I'm at, it's going to be in the middle of my screen. Man, I love that one. I didn't think I was gonna like that one that much, but it's handy. So, um, what else we got? What was another new feature? That one. Ooh, offsets. Yes, that's another one. Offset. We'll do the words first. So they actually did a lot of stuff with text this time. So now with text, you can do. Oh, let's see. We'll do this test. Happy. So before when you did the weld operation, it wouldn't weld together. So if anybody doesn't know, all your text operations, once you do a text box, is at the top, all your features. These top ones, xTools, Texas, I guess you could say. These are going to be on everybody's laser, no matter what. So it's on your tablets, on your phones, it's on your computers. All these will always be there every time. Sorry. I'm just hitting my arrow button down so you guys know you can actually scroll through these, which is nice. Um, These will all be here. These are so these single line fonts. So from here down, all these cannot be engraved. Just to let you know. You go to engrave them, it will say no, or it will show half your stuff when you're processing. It will not engrave. They're only for score lines. So any of these single line fonts can only be scored. Yes, you could add your own fonts to your laser. Um, so that's just if you add a font, you have to hop out of XCS and go back into XCS to be there. So all your fonts should be there. So, uh, so like right now, this where it says system type fonts. So this is everything I've downloaded on my computer. So, and again, I recommend there's a couple different places. Creative Fabric, they have a lot of awesome fonts. It's worth a subscription. If you just need a onesie twosie, thefont.com is another one that's very handy. So, but again, there's people doing the same thing we're doing. Don't be sad to, help people out, donate some money. That's why I'm a big Etsy guy. I love helping other people out. Maybe someday I'll be on there for designs. We'll see. Well, my wife at least. So, let's not do that one. So for like this stuff, some of the new features they've done, yeah, I did too. So obviously your text, it's not all of them will have these features. Some do, some don't. Usually all theirs do. All of xTools have some type of extra medium bold, something like that. Some of the ones you download, I know like the ones from defont.com do not always have, they have one. So be careful with that. Some of them don't even let you have numbers. Again, you got to pay for certain things. So that's why I recommend the Creative Fabric. Those will give you a lot of options. Um, and then obviously your size. And then under here now, this is where you change like height, the gap between. So this is one of the new features. Change my letters so they're all not going to run together like I wanted to. It was too much. I might change back to what I practice with. So, and then this does your width between your letters. Shootist. Come on, minus 1.5. So again, if you want something that's all put together, and again, there's other things where you go back, you can do score lines, and again, another reason to do score lines, you make a copy, put it over top, it'll fill in the ones that's how you get your different layers. If you want to put your P on top of a P, that's where the scissors and another class, another day, we'll have to go through that stuff. I don't want to get too deep on that. But now if I go up here and I weld, it's gonna weld this all together now. So, but the nice thing about this, even though I welded it, it's still editable, you know. So, but if I don't want it to be editable, you can actually turn it in. If I do want to go in here and do a node edit on these, um, this way, right click. Now it's convert to path, and that will make it turn into an SVG file basically. So now I do this. Now it's not editable, but I do have the node ability to mess with nodes if I want to. So, and then the simplify works to an extent. Just be careful because you'll lose detail sometimes if you do the simplify. But like this one, obviously it didn't do bad. It got rid of a bunch of the jumbo, so it's not terrible. But don't use these scissors. There's another just I'm in here. I'm gonna go on a tangent here, guys. Sorry. The scissors are not for cutting because even if I go in here and I take this H, say I cut this, I don't know, for some reason I'm gonna cut this out. If I go back, I hit done, it's still gonna complete the box. It's not gonna change it. That's not what it's for. If you want to remove something, you have to go in here. I use the pen tool. Just make a box. Don't do what I just did. And hit done. Correct. And now I can go in here and again, why I would ever do that in H, I'm just showing you the options. That's what the differences between the two are. Again, yes, it stays a text file if I don't go to convert path. Cramp. So, and obviously I can undo, and go back and still make it editable. Back to where it says use. And that's where again, undo and the escape button are your friends. So, oh, and then the other feature it will do, the new feature. So again, there's two new ones here. Let's go escape. See, escape's my friend. All right, another one uh is the ability to change from, oh, this is already all capital. I gotta do one that's not. So I feel like this one. You did a bunch of them. Is like the person say, hey, they want them all to be capitalized. Well, now you can actually go in here and there's a feature where it will go and just capitalize all the letters, which is really nice. I actually did that. I did a bunch of calendar stuff and I forgot to capitalize and I just went through into this feature and it was great. So, but just remember, it's always capitalized. Even if I go back and change this, it's always going to be capitalized. So you got to remember to go back here. So that's what this little icon does and brings it back to original case. So, and then another one, why I say this offset for this, we've all had the issue with having too thin of a letters. They went and changed their outline to offset now, and it does inside and outsides now, which is really nice. So right now it always does both. I don't know why it gives you the option for here. Let's see. Yeah, because on words it's always going to do both. On boxes, on other stuff, you got to tell it if you want to do both sides, both sides. But we can do sharp corners now. I don't know if this one will just because of the way the box is. Yeah, it did a little bit. So again, another awesome benefit. Like this little guy's in here. And this is where, maybe I want to get rid of these inside ones. Let's do this real quick. Just a bit. And this is where, again, tell you guys the design. And engrave so I can see what's going on. Now my red's in front of my blue. That's why I can't see it. Send it to the back. And this is one of the glitches. This is one I want you guys to pay attention to. So it does show that nodes are in here, but it's still engraving it. So it didn't cut it out. So that is one of the little glitches I've noticed in texts. So be careful with some of those. Just make sure when you go to process, everything is doing what you want it to do. Um, I think if I go release vectors, I don't know why I got to release it and then send it back out and then it does what it's supposed to do. That's like I said, one of the little glitches it does have. For now, they'll fix it. There'll be an update. Don't be scared. So again, the offset to be able to do different things on the offset now, that's huge because it used to always radius the corners. Annoying. Well, so annoying. So, and then it actually changes the ability to only do the outer shapes now. It doesn't always do it. It doesn't take long to process. It used to take forever to process sometimes. We'll say, hey, I just want to do the outside, you know, and then let's see if this will do. I'm not sure if I'll do bevels on this shape again. Yeah, I did. But again, it's a nice feature. But it will always pull to the top. So that's when you gotta watch. The last thing you do will always be on the top layer. So again, if I make this yellow or whatever color, orange, and I hit engrave, it's gonna be on the top. So Just remember to send it to the back. Those are your layers. So, what else we got? Oh yeah, this the one more text feature that they put out there, which is actually kind of nice. Because before you couldn't do this, because I could never just do. It doesn't let you do one letter. I think once you did one letter, it might now, and then this one, but it wouldn't let you do one letter before. If you try it in 2.3, it will not let you just do one letter at a time. And now you can go and right click again, just select it. So it's just got the box around it, not the cursor on it. This is where people get sidetracked too. Select it, just let you select it, double click it, let you edit it. But if I right click it, I can actually split text now. So what it does, it gives me each individual. It does group it, or maybe it doesn't. See, now I can actually do each one individually, which is nice because then you can do the whole sweepy thing, follow a curve. Again, it takes a few more steps. It can't just do it. I was kind of hoping that they had that feature in here, but it still gives you the option to kind of break it up, do your own thing, change the text up a little bit. So it's a nice touch. So yeah, that's pretty much up for the new stuff. What's up? We can run through a couple, but I know there's a couple things people want. I want to do two more things real quick to show you guys. Um, One, people are asking, so this is a PNG file. This is my logo, my PNG. Again, it goes back to the tracing. So you bring a PNG file in from a customer or somebody, you get a lot of PNG files. People like PNG files, especially when they're clean black ones like this. Um, this still has color to it. I think this one does. I don't remember if I do, but all PNG files, I always bring it in, bring the color down a little bit because it's still. I'll show you on the next one here. We're gonna do real quick, just to. This should help that ability to kind of play with them and mess with the text a little bit more and skew it and do all that stuff. So it's gonna be handy. I'll show this thing here more. But basically, you just have your image. Um, Ideally, if it's not still has white, you can go in there and delete it. That's where edit on any PNG, any file. I can do a show you more on the other one. I'm gonna do this other photo. You have your magic wand. It'll erase. It says fuzziness, but it's more like shades of colors. It really needs to be changed to shade because that's really what it is. So the different shades, as they get closer, you just move that around, and obviously you have an eraser. So I don't really have nothing to do on this one. But anything like this that's black and white, you just go to trace. It will trace a lot of stuff, usually pretty well. You can see I'm missing some stuff on the inside of my letters. I like pulling down the smoothness because I don't want sharp edges. I want to still be smooth, sweepy and stuff. So I pull that down, pull the noise down a little bit, and this is where sometimes you just gotta start doing it one thing at a time. See, now I can get the inside of the letters. It's not too distorted. And there's some jaggy stuff and that kind, but it's there. So I just hit save. And I'll show you the difference of why somebody would do this. I know that some of these questions. So this being a PNG file only lets me engrave. So if you ever have an issue where it only lets you engrave, it's because it's a PNG file or a JPEG file. Now this file is an SVG file. It lets me score it, engrave it, cut it, do everything I want to it. So, well, that was one of the other features that XCS put out. So all these have little quick tips and tricks. So if you hover over everything now, it actually shows you a little diagram what everything does. I mean, everything. So that was one of the other new things they added in 2.4. So that is that one. Um, and don't, this is the other thing too, people don't understand too, is you can actually outline, offset. You can do an offset on an engrave on a PNG file. Say I only want the outer shape. And I want it to be 0.25. And this will let me still do a cut on a PNG file. So, and you can go back in here and clean this up, box it out. We can do all kinds of work to make this a logo like you cut out of a hat patch or something like that. Maybe go a little bit bigger. I'll go 0.25. How big should I go? It's not terrible. So again, there's options. Maybe I want square corners, which is nice because again, that feature was not there. It's not in 2.3. It didn't really still square them off because of radius. It probably won't. So that's actually weird. But again, this is kind of where I would use maybe a little bit of node editing, a little bit, because again, I can go in here and just delete 95% of these, or you can just do a box. Again, there's 95 different ways to do the same thing on some of the stuff. So, you don't have to do it this way, but it's an option. Again, these features up here for the nodes. So each node has a different way to mess with it. This is obviously a square corner. There's a lot. That's what I'm saying. Don't be scared to play with this stuff, guys. I mean, you don't learn nothing without doing. Everybody's gonna make mistakes. We've all been there. So, but yeah, there's all kinds of different ways. Maybe I don't want to go this route. I want it to be more square. I can go in here and just square. I mean, you can go in here and grab these and just say, hey, I want to make it a straight line, and I want them to be square. Stuff like that. There's all kinds of different ways to do the same thing, like I've said. So that's the difference between these. We're going to do questions here in just a moment. I want one more thing because I know somebody else asked this question. So photos. I love doing photos with XCS. One reason I actually kind of stayed away from Lightburn more was because of actually this photo. So the benefit with XCS, I feel, it does photos very well. For the reason, because if I can go in here and I can say adjust, if I bring this down, it turns it automatically black, black and white. Need it to be a little brighter. I'll say that, turning this down a little bit. I mean, you can brighten it right up with this setting. Your brightness. I mean, this one's actually not. It's pretty powerful. So be careful on how much you brighten this one up. Sharpness, I like to put 10 to 15. It just brings that texture out. If you're doing slate, this is where you invert it. So, and obviously the darker the photo, I gotta word this right way because it's backwards. Obviously, it's not going to engrave up here. It's going to engrave here. So, maybe I want to actually bring this down a little bit, bring it back up. Maybe I want this darker so I can actually bring this side up now. And actually, when I light it, brighten it. Oh, it's because I'm inverted. So I go the other way. That's why. So anything on this one, once we invert it, if it's dark, it's not going to engrave. It's only going to engrave the white stuff. It's not going to engrave the dark stuff. I gotta see sure I'm saying that right. It's not. It's the other way around. That's what messes with people. So the dark is what it's going to engrave, not the white. And that's what's going to turn white. So it's flipping that brain around. That's what's black business cards, dark tumblers, slate coasters. This is what you want to run the invert on. So, if you wanted to go in to remove the background, I don't recommend doing the trace. It will do it. Filters, certain photos work well with it, but not always. So some do, some don't. The edit feature, again, this is kind of where the magic wand will come into play a little bit. Not terrible in this one just because the shades, but I mean, it removes a lot of background. I mean, I can remove, it's going to do something funky here because probably get into the chest a little bit if I click this one. Not too bad. So that one did. Again, for some reason they put the undo over here. It's not this undo, so beware of that. Undo's over here. Again, if I just adjust this down, then I'm moving the dog. If you put a trace mark all around the dog, you can go through and delete all that stuff. So you can just pull the dog out. I mean, the other nice thing is you can zoom in quite a bit and use the erase and get really, really close if you want to also. So that's an option. And once you get close, you can go in there and just use the marker. Once I get like this area just cleaned out. So I have to do that. Hit this, clean it out like that. So turn it up. That kind of stuff. But that's that one. Man, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about, and I can't remember what it was. Again, for new people, and there's so much stuff, but I want to make sure I covered the stuff for you guys, the new stuff. Obviously, if you're new to, like Glenn, I think you said you were fairly new. Obviously, I'm sure you know what output is now. Whatever doesn't go to the laser, turn it on and off with output. Uh, Jarvis, they're called dither modes. Jarvis is kind of usually the go-to, but play with them, play with the different settings. If you have a photo, and this is the one thing I do like about XCS in photos. Yes, you're going to get some grain, but it's I can actually scale this quite a bit, and it doesn't lose distortion to the drawing or whatever I have. Obviously, it depends on your file. One quick thing, because I have a photo here. If say you want to do just I'm gonna back this up. So uh, original one. So here, say you have I just want his head, on a pendant, a heart pendant or something. I go in here, I do a heart. So say I want just this part of him. But again, one SVG file, one PNG or JPEG file. It's all you can have. You box select them both, or just select them both. Now you have this feature pop up for you. A lot of things will pop up for you once you do certain things. So, let's get rid of that though. You hit create. Now it's a mask. So now I can hit done. And now I'm only doing this little bit of the area. So if I want to do a test of this area, so it's still the same full size. Maybe I'm going to do the full size, but I want to do a little test of just his head. I can do this one. I can make a copy and do this one as bare. You know what I mean? And you can do a bunch at the same time. Again, this one you do have to make your own test. I want to say, let me double check something. Because it used to be able to do, no, that's another whole thing. We'll see. So it's not doing what I thought it was going to do. It's just doing a speed test. It's doing an engrave test. But you can do that too. You can do it with photos if you want to, kind of find what works the best. But just remember there's a lot of difference between these numbers. So that is an option. What time we got? I don't remember my time. Do one last thing, I promise, guys, and then I'll go through questions. Now, again, if you have this, the drawing is still always there too. The full one. Just go up here and hit release mask. It's still there. So one last thing. P2 and P2s. These are in both these. I'm gonna do this one because I have the photo. If I go to a Tumblr, and let's see, diameter. I'm a perimeter guy, so that's how you switch to parameter. Go down, say like 10.5. I think it's like 10.75. I'm just putting a rough number in there just so you guys know. And then again, I'm just gonna throw a number out here to mess up the system. Yeah, I'll do 0.8. It won't let you do it unless you do 0 first. So once you get this information inputted in, you usually want to go to your edge of your green line. This little icon right here, this play button, it is awesome. Again, I'm not sure what I have my stuff set to. I don't know what my sizes are, so we'll see what it does. It's a little big, but it shows you what your image is going to look like. And you can roll it, you can grab it and drag it. Like, hey, I'm not all the way around. Maybe I want to go all the way around with this one. It is so handy because then you can do like odd things and you can fill and do that seamless full wrap on your cups. So yes, this would be a very long project if we wanted to engrave this cup. This would be huge. It'd take forever. I would never do anything this big. That's silly. I don't even like doing full wraps, but I just want to show you guys the feature. So it's very handy. And this is actually in 2.3. So it's not in 2.4. It is in 2.3. So, all right, let's go through some of the questions. Let's see what we got. Let's see what she wrote down. I think I might have answered a couple of them, but I'm not supposed to. All right, the Oski family. Uh, yes and no about running. So they asked if you should run your laser at 100%. I'm one of those guys that's on the fence with that one. It's I'm never gonna run the laser 100% of the time all day long. Yes, I changed the values, but a lot of that comes from I think people running 100% all day long, 8 hours a day. We even mine. I run a lot. I run my lasers a lot, but I don't run them every day at 100%. No, my go to is 95, but what is the difference between 95 and 100? Honestly, so obviously you try to define that happy medium of what you can and what you can't run. So uh I don't raise my so the next question was about raising acrylic off the slats or honeycomb. I do not raise my stuff off by honeycomb. My normal colors. I gotta make sure I clarify this. Mirrored ones, I do, just because there is potential that you will get that flashback and get your honeycomb or your slats burned down to your mirrored materials. And always do mirrored materials face down. So that is one of that. And then I think I did answer this question about the devices being on there when you do your devices. That was it. Yeah, I see that. And then so but yeah, the devices are there just for design purposes. That was something I actually brought up a long time ago. It's like I just want to be able to go in there and click on one and design, not have to be connected. Because before you always had to be connected to your laser before you could actually design anything. So you couldn't be sitting in the house designing something and have to go back out to your laser. You had to be connected to it. So that was like why they kind of went that route. Uh, I have not had any issues with the faster X acceleration. Now I know the P2 had some early on, but I have not. Now the question is, did you download that algorithm? Because that might be the reason why it was having issues. So, and this was from Twisted Barbell. So, um, again, if you guys got any other questions, I think I've tried to answer. Again, there's more stuff. There's actually more stuff out there, guys, that I haven't showed you. I mean, we didn't even dive into layers and uh, stuff like that. So I don't want to drag out this too much longer. I have no problem. If you guys got questions, please. So a couple things. I do have some stuff in the. I think they're in the notes. I don't even know what's in my notes. Can you look in the notes and see what's in the descriptions? So I think I have some stuff in the descriptions. There's a couple companies that I do like to support. Please go check them out if you're looking for just odds and ends. Great Lake Supply, they do really good stuff. Um, Creative. There's I don't know what's creatives. in the description. Let's see if I can find it real quick, guys.
Cut supplies.
Yes, Creative Cost Supplies. He does a lot of woods. If you're looking for wood, uh, laser wood, stuff like that. And then Z RZ acrylics is again, and this is more of a Midwest thing because again, I'm in Michigan. Obviously, that's why my lines. So these are all Midwest Michigan. So if you're in that area, because again, that was my biggest thing with acrylic. I could never find nobody. I've used Maker Marks, Maker Stock. It just took them forever to get me stuff. So finding somebody closer was awesome to have. And then, and it's good quality. It's very good acrylic. I've been very impressed with it. Um, Another thing too is anybody is looking for a P2. I do have a gentleman that's purchased my previous P2 and he is looking to actually downgrade to an S1. So if anybody is looking for a full P2 with riser and conveyor and all that good stuff, reach out to me. You can either contact me through here or find me on Facebook. I'm obviously in the P2 group. So RZ Acrylics is what it's called. And you can get a lot of stuff off their website. And then if you actually call them, you can get bigger sheets. So I actually ordered a couple 2 foot by 4 foot sheets. Yeah, I definitely get. I've had some Alaska and Hawaii definitely get screwed out of the deal, unfortunately. So, if you guys got any other quick questions, something I missed, something you wanted to touch base on. I know I didn't even really go through a lot of the boolean operations. I mean, again, like I said, there's a lot of stuff. I wanted to make sure I showed you all the new stuff. Uh, like I said, this video will be uploaded pretty much right after. I don't go back and edit none of my stuff. I should, but I don't. It's not fun that way. So, so yeah. But if there's no other questions out there, guys, I mean, I think I hope I answered all your questions. Let me see if I can go back. I know my wife was kind of jotting down most of them for me. So, okay, click on it. There. But yeah, I kind of threw a lot at you guys, so I'm glad a lot of you stayed and stuck it out. I hope everything was working okay. Seems looked like I got too many people on tonight, but hey, a few people that hopped on, I appreciate it. So yeah, if you could like and subscribe to my page, I'd appreciate that also. It helps me out a little bit. So eventually it'll help me out. I'm not there yet, but we try to keep this going. I did. Yeah, if
Just trying to double check.
I'm not sure. I try to do these monthly, but I'm trying to debate if I'm gonna do like I might do one. It's always fines when I have fine time. So I might try to do one for like the S1 or the F1 series. So I'm not gonna say I'm gonna do one next week, but just keep an eye out. It's usually at least monthly, but I might try to do another one. Again, it'll be a lot of the same stuff, unfortunately, but just more directed to like a F1 Ultra or the S1. So, but I like to try to do them exactly when they do this. I'm gonna try to start doing some more like videos of projects. So that another couple of gentlemen look about showing his kids how to do stuff and doing the full stuff. So yeah, I'm still fairly new at the X at the I'm not about this since we're not really doing much in here. Got questions, I'll hop back in, but yeah, it's I don't I like helping people out. I like answering questions, you know. If you do want one-on-one, I do offer one-on-one help. It's on my web. It's in the description again. You can touch base there, or again, just contact me. So, but yeah, I think we're gonna call it a night and move on to the next time. So again, I'll give you guys all one more shot if you got any questions. If not, I think we're gonna shut her down. Not too bad, hour and a half. I'm not mad about that. Not too many. Hopefully, I didn't have any video issues on everybody's part. So, but if not, thanks for hopping on. We'll see you again in a month or sooner. So, all right. Have a good night.